Hi, everybody. It's Kanesha from Bold Living Today. Hello on Facebook and hello on Instagram Live. And welcome to the last and final Wednesday Club of 2019. It's not the last and final Wednesday Club of forever, but just of 2019. So this is episode 16. And before we get started, let me tell you what Wednesday Club is for anybody who is new to this space and joining us in the Bold Living Today community. So Wednesday Club is my way of coming together with the Bold Living Today community. I am the founder and creator of Bold Living Today, so that's the community. And Wednesday Club is our space to discuss creativity, learning from and successfully navigating life transitions, untangling from things and thoughts that keep us small, and building and amplifying our boldness. So you'll notice that that spells out the word club. So this is Wednesday Club. Thank you to everybody who has been checking in the episodes, 16 episodes. You know, I wasn't sure how this was going to go when I first started it. So I am proud of myself and I'm proud of us for building this community and just using this space to really help ourselves be bolder, get the right support, ask questions, and learn from each other. And thank you to the people who have completed the survey to give me ideas and feedback and inspiration for additional episodes to come. So this is the last episode for 2019, as I said, and then I'm going to go on a little break. I hope you're going on a little break, and then I will be back on January 8th, 2020. So that's Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, where we will resume and we'll talk about episode 17, which will be productivity for the new year. But before we get into today's topic, which is things to leave behind in 2019, I just want to go over some questions that just came in from people through my contact form and through the survey. I always like to take a moment to answer those or, just follow up on something from a previous episode. So in episode 15, I talked about my favorite books from 2019. I talked about the book talks I attended and just different things I learned. So one of the questions came from somebody who was asking, how do I find out about all these book talks and make the time to go? So I mentioned in last week's episode is that, traffic in California is crazy time. I know people have heard about it, and public transportation is not as easy as I am used to, especially after living in the city of Chicago. So it is a huge time commitment if I want to get up to San Francisco on a weekday and a book talk starts at 6 or 6:30. So I don't go to as many as I would like to because of that constraint, but I make it work. The way that I find out about these different book talks is, if there's a particular author that I've been following, usually they'll have their book tour information listed. So I make sure I'm on that listserv. I follow some social media accounts, like, for example, Bay Area Buzz. I'm in the Bay Area, so that particular website has a lot, or Instagram account has a lot of information about what's going on in the local area, so I don't have to look for the information. It is curated for me. I've subscribed to a lot of e-letters or electronic newsletters from independent booksellers, so you get a lot of information about authors and book talks there. I'm thinking about Books Inc. That's pretty much a national one in different cities across the United States. Yeah, so that's how I found out about different book talks and plan my schedule and drag my fun friends to come with me so we can get our learn on and get bolder. And it's just really fun to have a book, read it together after the book talk, and then be able to relate back to what that author said during the Q&A or what they said while they were being interviewed. Oh, another way I hear about book talks is my local NPR radio station too. I hear a lot of interviews there, and then they talk about their book talks or their book tours. So that was the other place. So that was a great question, how to find out about the book talks. And then at the end of next year, I'll be talking about the books that I read for 2020, just because I'm always reading, always wanting to learn, and always wanting to go check out lectures and things of that nature. The other question that came through, I'm not sure if it related to a specific episode, but it came through, and maybe I said something that channeled or triggered this in a person. They said, Kanesha, you seem to spend a lot of time with your family and your kids. How are you able to do that with work and all the stuff that you have going on? So yeah, I am out and about a lot, and I, always try to remind people that one, I do not work full time. My coaching practice is part time. I have busy seasons, and then I have kind of busy seasons, and then I have lulls. So depending on what's going on in those like work cycles, that can determine how much free time I'm having. And when I say free time to do stuff for myself, to travel, and to hang out with my girlfriends. I am an only child, so I am used to making space for other people in my life because otherwise, who else am I going to hang out with? So that's something that was nurtured in me very early on, so I can figure out how to hang and spend time with people. Like last night, Tuesday night, I went out with three of my great girlfriends, and we had a fantastic dinner, holiday evening out. But it was on a Tuesday, and it was a push for all of us. But once we got there, we were super excited to be there. So everything doesn't feel so easy to get to, but it's always worth whatever it takes to get there. So that's another thing. And the other piece too is because I've moved so many times in my adult life, I have friends in various areas. So I do try to stay connected through text messages, not just social media. And so I have some great friends that we have kind of like these texting protocols, like whether it's a morning selfie, talking about our dinners, talking about something specific to the kids. So we have a specific way that we stay connected to each other because we have a common core. So I work really hard at that. It takes time. So yeah, great question. That's how I'm able to spend so much time with my friends. And then, with my kids, they're just my top priority. And I have a very tidy house, but I'm sure I have some dusting I should be doing, but I'll get to it because I might be building a fort here later or later today. Like we're getting together with some friends after my son gets out of school so that we can decorate gingerbread houses on a Wednesday. So we just make sure we fit it in and everybody's having a good time as much as possible. And the last question, excuse me, that came through was again about the whole calendar auditing. So I did a part 1 and a part 2 about auditing the calendar. So let's see, shoot, what episodes were there? Episode 12 was, here we go. Episode 11 was part 1 of auditing your calendar, episode 11. And then episode 12 was part 2 of auditing your calendar. And so the person wrote in and said, Kanesha, thank you so much for showing us how to audit the calendar. I didn't really get the purpose of it, so I tried it anyway because you made it sound so fun. Well, yay, I'm glad I did that. And I got all the tools that you mentioned. And what I learned about my 2019 is that I spent so much time worrying about how to help other people without spending enough time helping myself. So going forward from the calendar audit all the way into 2019, I am going to make sure that I put on my calendar, schedule it, put it in black and white, the times I need to focus on my own stuff and protect that time. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I mean, we're all busy, we're all doing bold things, we're all trying to get everything done, and we just sometimes forget how we have to schedule stuff to make it work. And putting things on your calendar so that you remember to do them, so that they get done is super important. So, awesome. Good work to you. All right. So, moving on and moving in to episode 16, things to leave behind in 2019. So, I always like to talk about this in late December or early January just because people are thinking about goals and resolutions and visions and what to manifest and things like that. And way back in 2014, I wrote a post about things to leave behind in 2014. And 2014 was kind of like the tail end of my transition into living in California. We moved to California in late 2012, like on Christmas Eve. It was crazy and insane. And so 2013 was such like the kind of crazy chaotic, like what are we doing, figuring out our lives in California. And then in 2019, and in 2014, I restarted my business, relaunched Bold Living Today, got a handle on how things were going on in our lives in California because we had had a full year here and figured out some kinks and things like that. And so that was a good time for me to write the post about what to leave behind in 2014 as I looked ahead to 2015. And so I've made this an annual habit to think about things to leave behind. And a lot of that comes through from doing the calendar audit. It comes through from going through the activities in the self-love Playbook for Bold Thinkers, so that I just have an idea or a clear strategy around seeing themes and pitfalls and worries and stresses that just don't need to follow me into the new year. So I made a list of different things that you should leave behind in 2019, and this is a suggested list because you will have your own list based on, what's going on in your life, the season of your life, your age, your circumstances, your calendar audit, and things like this. So I have a list of 4 things, and there's a longer list, and I will outline the longer list in my newsletter. So if you're a subscriber, you'll get the full list. And if you're not a subscriber, I'll put the link to join in the video notes, and it's free. So you don't have to pay anything to get the full list. All right, so here are the top 4 things I think that you should leave behind in 2019, and the list has 8 things, but I'll tell you the top 4. Okay, the first thing to leave behind in 2019 is waiting for permission to try or do something you want. So leave that behind, waiting for permission. It's not important to have every single thing in place before you try something new. Trust yourself and be willing to put yourself out on a limb. Be kind when things don't work out or go just right. Be proud that you allowed yourself to leap, learn, and grow. Remember, 2020 is a leap year, so we're going to be leaping here very soon in the next few weeks. So leave behind in 2019, waiting for permission to try or to do something you want to do. Leave that behind. The second thing you should leave behind is allowing social media to control your true voice. Social media is a great space, but it's also a odd and, unsanctioned, unregulated space. And, people can get really caught up and swept up into the compare and despair, doing too many comparisons or looking at people's highlights reels and thinking that's real life. So, social media is great and it's very tricky. We've witnessed discussion threads that go ugly in less than 2 posts. Like, it just goes nuts. People become so internet brave and they write mean and hurtful things that they would never say to another person in face to face. So as you manage your own social media consumption, remember you are the keeper of that space. Hi, Suzanne. Hello, gorgeous yourself. Remember, you are the keeper of your social media space. So you need to develop your own filter systems and the purpose of your posts and what you want to be on your discussion threads. You are the curator of your social media experience. So be honest, be authentic about this, and let your friends and followers know, like, these are the ground rules for interacting with me and social media. Don't bring your drama or your craziness here. It's okay for you to politely remove their posts because it's your space. You're the boss. You can do bold things like that. And it sounds a little uncomfortable and maybe radical, but you don't have to allow people to verbally assault, abuse, berate you, or do things like that on social media. It's not necessary. You don't have to take it. So the second thing, as I said, to leave behind in 2019 is allowing social media to control your true voice. The third thing that you should leave behind in 2019 is being afraid to invest in yourself. Leave that ideology and that behavior behind in 2019. I often hear excuses about people not having enough time or money for a fitness program or for healthy meal service, to have it delivered, or for empowerment retreats or events or workshops, or a life-changing, coaching session or therapist counseling session and things like that. And people always say, I don't have enough time, money, or energy to invest in something that's focused on building me up and improving my daily life and helping me maximize the time I have. Let that go. You should not be afraid of investing in yourself. You should not put those limitations on investing in yourself. Leave that behind in 2019. Once you are clear on the resources that you have for investing in yourself, look at the areas that you might need additional support or nourishment in your day-to-day life. Invest in those services, invest in those programs, invest in those resources, invest in a bartering system if that's what you're going to set up with someone to get you the right investment for your what's next. It's not frivolous to invest in improving your life or situation. It's a bold mindset to want to invest in yourself, and you owe it to yourself. So leave this behind in 2019, being afraid to invest in yourself. 2020 is where it's at. It's time to invest in yourself in a real, thoughtful, committed way. And investing in yourself does not mean spending tons of money. I don't want you to think that. It might be setting aside the time to do things, asking for the help that you need, applying for programs that might be scholarshiped that you can be a part of. So investing in yourself is not all about just spending money on something, but getting clear on what you need and then going for it, signing up for it, registering for it, asking for it, whatever you need. So that's the third thing to leave behind in 2019. And then the fourth thing I think you need to leave in 2019, and this is the fourth thing from the list of 8, holding on to a friend who does not love or care for you. You need to let those people go. Stop holding on to people who are not true friends to you, who do not give you the same considerations, and who do not honor you or build you up or help you become a better person. Friendship is wonderful, and it's also tricky. I have a friend who has this great motto about maintaining connections or relationships. She says this: sometimes you meet people and it's an instant connection that will last forever. So true. Other times you have to use the catch and release system. And when you catch a friend, it may be a relationship that's situational, it might be for a season, and that works well. When it stops working or it's no longer a positive situation, it's time to release. So catch and release. And that's hard. A lot of times people as adults say, and I know some teenagers say this too, it's hard to make and maintain friendships, and that's not untrue. But if a relationship truly is not working for you, there's no sense in doing the extra work and trying to make that work for you. When it stops working out and it's no longer positive, it's for sure time to release. Hold on to the relationships that are full of deep connections and partnerships and someone being your cheerleader and rooting for you and, understanding your ups and downs, and somebody who will just check in on you. They don't want anything, nothing's going on. They just want to make sure that you're okay. So you want to reevaluate any relationships, any friendships that are complicated, stressful, or leave you feeling depleted. So yes, we want to leave behind holding on to a friend who does not love or care for us in the way that we deserve. So like I mentioned, there are 8 things on this list of things you should leave behind in 2019. I'll be sending that out to the Bold Living Today community, and just to go over the things that you should leave behind. So these are the top 4 of the 8. 1, waiting for permission to try or do something that you want. 2, allowing social media to control your true voice. 3, being afraid to invest in yourself. And then 4, holding on to a friend who does not love or care for you in the way that you deserve. So think about things that you want to let go of and leave behind in 2019. It might be a person, a relationship, it might be a habit, it might be a way of thinking, it might be some thoughts or ideology that's keeping you stuck or keeping you small or not allowing you to harness your boldness or your creativity. So think about these things that are burdening you, that are hurdles for you, that are underserving you, and make your own list of things you want to leave behind in 2019 and let go. And then once you make the list, you want to prioritize what the top 2 to 3 things are, and different resources, tools, people, events, workshops, whatever the case may be that you can invest in to help you let go of those things and leave them behind in 2019. So I'll have the list of all 8 things in the next newsletter. I have the information that I've mentioned today in the show notes. I want you all to have a great rest of the holiday season. The holiday resource guide is still available if you want to download that. It's a free resource, but it has information about taking better care of yourself during the holiday season, to check for burnout, recipes, all types of promo codes for shopping, for supporting women-owned and women-run businesses. So it's a great tool and resource that you can use right now, and then also carry it into 2020, because the resources are really around having inner wellness be at the top of your list and putting yourself in the front row of bold living. So that information will also be in the show notes, but you can access it through my website at boldlivingtoday.com. And then you can get access to all the Wednesday Club episodes on Facebook, Kanesha Baynard Coaching, and then also via my YouTube channel. The episodes are only available for 24 hours on Instagram Live, but always on Facebook. You can find them and always on my YouTube channel. Have a great holiday season. I will be back to talk with you on Wednesday, January 8th. If there's a time change, I will let you know, but typically we are there at noon Pacific time. So mark your calendars, send your questions in, your comments, and I will try to answer those things. And happy holidays, everybody. Take care.